Pearl Abyss shares new Black Desert North American beta details. Nexon is working on a new zombie-themed Counter-Strike. Defiance's storyline moves forward with the new Silicon Valley expansion. Rusty Hearts bids farewell, and much more on this week's episode of Free-to-Play Weekly. In an interview with MMO site at this year's China Joy, developer Pearl Abyss confirmed Black Desert would conduct its first closed beta test for North American and European regions in early 2015. The news comes shortly after Pearl Abyss revealed Black Desert's current Korean publisher, Daum Communications, would also handle publishing duties in the West. While Daum is currently looking to hire gaming veterans from the West to help facilitate that, the publisher is also working with Pearl Abyss to kick off the third Korean closed beta test in September, before transitioning into open beta in November. When comparing the two localizations, Pearl Abyss stated Black Desert's gameplay wouldn't be altered much, as the studio believes the MMO's medieval European setting is an ideal match for Western culture. However, Pearl Abyss said they will make changes based on player suggestions and demands. In some other exciting news, MMOBomb will be covering Black Desert during its upcoming third beta period, which means we will be able to give you a few of our own hands-on impressions much sooner than 2015. Let us know in the comments what excites you most about Black Desert. In preparation for Rift's upcoming 3.0 expansion Nightmare Tide, set to send players to the Plane of Water, Triumph Worlds has released patch 2.8 Madness Wakes. This latest patch acts as a prelude to 3.0's upcoming events by dredging the depths of some truly fishy areas to bring forth some of Tolera's greatest evils, including a great blue squid god and a dream-eating group of fanatic cultists known as the Dream Coven. Players can square off against these mysterious forces in the new 5-man dungeon Nightmare Coast, which has groups attempting to stop the cultists and their leader, the Lord of Nightmares, from opening a portal to the Planet of Water. While doing so, they'll embark on new quests, overcoming new encounters, and ultimately score new shinies to equip. And apart from the usual quality of life improvements and bug fixes, patch 2.8 introduced a revamped auction house while also reworking pyromancer abilities to add more sizzle to the fiery soul. The name Counter-Strike Nexon Zombies reads like a badly translated DVD cover for a bootleg version of Valve's Counter-Strike, yet Counter-Strike Nexon Zombies is very real, and as its name suggests, Nexon is responsible for its creation. More specifically, the European branch of Nexon, who recently announced the FPS would soon be available on Steam to players in Europe, North America, Oceania, and the CIS region. For those unaware, several Valve-sanctioned free-to-play versions of Counter-Strike have been available to players in the East for a few years now, with the most recent versions built upon a modified version of Counter-Strike's source. This latest version takes the series in a whole new direction, with the addition of all new game modes, weapons, and of course, the undead. Now, while the idea of playing a tactical FPS like Counter-Strike with aggressive zombies running around may not sound like the best of ideas, Nexon says players will also have access to the original CS modes, including Hostage Rescue and Bomb Diffusion. Currently, it's unclear how exactly zombies will work for CS, but the new modes may function similar to Counter-Strike Online's asymmetrical Zombie Darkness mode. Silicon Valley, Defiance's latest patch, is also its first to add brand new areas to the MMO FPS. As the name suggests, the free expansion introduces an apocalyptical version of the Silicon Valley area of San Francisco, overrun by the Pilgrims of the Guiding Light cult, and a cybernetic race known as the Grid. This of course means you, the protagonist, have your work cut out for you, with plenty of new things to shoot at. The DLC centers on the disappearance of the character known as Karl von Bach, who's vanished somewhere into Silicon Valley along with his pilgrims. Players will need to investigate the valley throughout 5 new story missions in order to unravel its mysteries and find out the pilgrims' true purpose for being there. In addition to the new story missions, players can unlock new outfits and synergies, new weapon mods, and an expanded ego cap. The new encryption trait can now also show up on particular weapons and shields, producing a small bonus to damage or capacity. Other additions include new invasions by the Grid, which if left unchecked have no problem turning areas of Silicon Valley into their own personal tech hives. Star Trek Online is about to take a voyage to a familiar quadrant of the galaxy thanks to the MMO's second expansion named Delta Rising, which sees captains of trekking through the Delta Quadrant for the first time. The DQ was most famous for being the area of space explored during the Star Trek Voyager television series, with the events of Delta Rising taking place 30 years after the show. Quick access to the Delta Quadrant is all thanks to a portal in the Dyson Sphere, which significantly cuts down on inter-quadrant travel times. As you might expect, several alien species prominently found in the show will return, along with a few rarely featured whom Cryptic want to explore further. Gameplay-wise, STO players will enjoy their first level increase in over 4 years. The new level cap of 60 will provide captains the opportunity to earn additional skills by training in specializations. With the new promotion comes new starships, equipped with the latest technology space money can buy. Fans of the show might even recognize several Voyager cast members reprising their roles, starting with Garrett Wang, who played Harry Kim. Delta Rising will be coming to a quadrant near you this October, with Cryptic promising to dangle more details about the expansion in the upcoming weeks. After 3 years, the highly stylized dungeon-based fantasy MMO Rusty Hearts is coming to an end, effective September 15th. The news broke across the game's official site late last week, with Perfect World Entertainment thanking fans for their loyalty, dedication, and countless hours crawling through dungeons. Although the official servers aren't coming down until September, PWE has already removed the ability to download the game, and current players will not be able to add additional currency to use in the cash shop. Users who've logged in over the past 30 days can expect to have their past 6 months worth of Zen purchased or transferred into Rusty Hearts refunded for use in any other titles on Perfect World Entertainment's ARC platform. Were you a fan of the Hearts? SOE just pumped several rounds of revamps into their hit MMO FPS Planetside 2, while rolling out the shooter's equivalent to achievements known as Directives. These goal-oriented objectives provide things for both new and veteran players to work towards each session, and reward players tangible rewards like special badges as well as unique camo and weapon skins. Directives come in multiple tiers, and as players complete each, they'll gain that specific tier's directive points, cert points, and a badge specific to whichever directive tree players happen to be working on. Most rewards are given out on a per-character basis, but SOE says some of the rewards include permanent account-wide XP and resource bonuses. Equally massive was the introduction of a new resource vamp, which takes the previous 3 resources used independently for spawning air, ground, and special infantry items, and consolidates them down to one called nanites. Nanites are no longer bound by what territory a faction owns within a given continent, but instead originate from each faction's warp gate, providing a steady stream of 60 resources per minute. Spawn timers for vehicles and the max suit are also a thing of the past, meaning armor acquisition will now be purely based off of available resources. Other changes like new spawn improvements means players can jump back into the action much faster without need to wade through multiple deployment screens first. There's quite a lot more to go over, so if you're interested in getting a bird's eye view of all the changes, check out the official post on MMOBomb.com for more details. And the game of the week is Zombies, Monsters, Robots. Zombies, Monsters, Robots, or Hazard Ops as it's known in Europe, is a third-person cover-based shooter which provides entertaining PvE and PvP modes to compete in. As a mercenary hired by a global corporation, players can journey to exotic locations where they'll fend off the worst kind of interdimensional invaders, unruly robots, and resurrected remains of Egyptian deities. Multiple PvE modes means players may find themselves traversing through booby-trapped bombs or erecting their own traps, and opening new pathways to fend off waves of the shambling undead. With support for up to 8 players, ZMR's multi-area campaigns are filled with hordes of appropriately themed enemies, mini-bosses, culminating in a pitched battle against a unique final boss. Outside of PvE, players can try out 7 different PvP modes ranging from your standard team deathmatch to more eccentric modes including the asymmetrical mercs vs monsters, which pits a team of mercenaries against player-controlled zombies. Scoring kills unlocks stronger classes for both sides, culminating in an epic clash between Cursed Emperors and Tiger-class mechs. And similar to Gears of War, while reloading, players can perform a quick time event to greatly reduce the gun's reload time. Miss the mark though, and the player's gun will jam. Players can even perform violent executions on downed enemies, preventing them from being revived by nearby allies. So, if you're looking for a fun cover-based shooter with interesting PvE campaigns and a plethora of PvP modes, then be sure to check out Zombies, Monsters, Robots. And that's going to be all on this week's episode of Free-to-Play Weekly. Unfortunately, next week we will not have one because we'll be heading over to Gamescom. But don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment in the comment section below. And be sure to head over to MMOBomb.com for more free-to-play action. Until next time, Natsumii.